Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're diving headfirst into exactly how to navigate the utter chaos that follows a retail break-in. We're pulling from real storefront protection data, actual installation insights, and on-the-ground service experiences straight out of Northern California. We're going to look at the hard realities and the actual verified data from over 50 storefront incidents to give you a clear, no-nonsense roadmap.
We're cutting straight through the fluff today to give you a direct first responder action plan. If you're sitting in the dark, totally stressed out, and about to make decisions that could literally cost you thousands of dollars, this is exactly what you need to hear. Because the reality is, the very moment the police arrive, the clock starts ticking on a series of choices that can either save your business a ton of money or drain your margins completely dry.
All right, Section 1, surviving the first 24 hours. This is basic triage for store owners.
Okay, let's get right into it. Here is your explicit 5-step survival checklist for the first 24 hours to stop the financial bleeding and protect your business. Honestly, the single most expensive mistake you can make right now is paying for things in the exact wrong order just out of sheer panic. So step 1, call the police and get that report number immediately, because insurance absolutely won't even talk to you without it. Step 2, document everything, but do not, I repeat, do not formally file your claim just yet. Step 3, pick your board up speed carefully. Fourth, delay ordering replacement glass. Commercial double doors are insanely expensive and take a week anyway, so don't rush into spending 4 figures on the exact same glass that just failed you. And finally, step 5, talk to just one shutter installer to get a real comparison between replacing the glass versus actually upgrading your security.
Let's zoom in on that third step for a second, because you have a really distinct choice when it comes to boarding up your shattered storefront. You can totally call an emergency board up service to arrive in an hour, but they're going to charge a massive premium for that. Or you could wait at the store until morning and have a handyman throw up some Home Depot plywood for a fraction of the cost. Both are perfectly valid choices. Just realize one costs you sleep while the other costs you serious money. Don't let vendors pressure you into thinking the premium emergency route is your only option tonight.
Moving on to Section 2, counting the real costs, the financial aftermath.
So now that the immediate bleeding has stopped, we need to take a really sober look at the financial breakdown. It's kind of like an iceberg. The actual financial damage hides deep beneath the surface. It is almost never just the cost of a broken door. Sure, you've got the emergency board-up costs and the major expense of glass and frame replacement, but you have to look at the bigger picture here. The stolen inventory combined with the days you are forced to remain closed just for cleanup and the police investigation. For stores that carry premium inventory, this single category routinely completely eclipses the cost of the structural damage itself.
And regarding insurance, I need you to remember one crucial number. 1. When it comes to that final category, the insurance premium impact, you've got to tread really carefully. In California, literally just one single break-in claim can sometimes be enough for a carrier to drop your coverage entirely. Crazy, right? If your damage is on the smaller end, it might actually be cheaper in the long run to just pay out of pocket than to claim it. That is exactly why step 2 on our checklist was to hold off on filing until you can actually talk to your broker and understand the exact impact it'll have on your policy.
All right, Section 3, the ignored warning signs. Let's dig into the psychological truth here.
Now that the dust has settled a bit, I want to pose a pretty tough question. Did your break-in really come out of nowhere? Look, we all want to believe these are just random acts of chaos, completely unpredictable lightning strikes. But the data we've got from over 50 analyzed incidents tells a very, very different story. Think back over the last few weeks or maybe months. Did you happen to brush off something minor? Let's look at how this builds into a really consistent pattern. According to seasoned installers and security experts, people who do this every single day, there is almost always a previous signal. Liquor stores, for example, they almost never get hit cold. That successful break-in that leaves you sitting in your car at 5 a.m. is almost never their first attempt. The same person or the same crew almost certainly tested your store first. So what do these tests actually look like? Well, here are the common warning signals that get completely ignored. An attempted entry that failed, a window that looked like it was pried open just a little bit, somebody rattling your back door handle at midnight, someone sleeping in your alcove to quietly watch your closing routines, or maybe just a random new tag on your roll-up door. That midnight rattle? Yeah, that wasn't just a drunk passerby. It was reconnaissance. Every single store owner in this dataset admitted, after the fact, that some version of one of these events happened right before the main break-in. Next up, Section 4, Concord's unique retail patterns. Let's look at some local Northern California specifics.
To really grasp how targeted these crimes are, we can look at specific retail patterns observed in places like Concord, over in the East Bay. Concord has a super unique footprint. First, Plaza-style storefronts totally dominate. Stores often sit in strip malls with shared walls, which requires really complex interior shutter mounts and careful coordination with landlords and neighboring tenants. Second, a huge share of Concord's operators run multiple locations. If one store gets hit, you better believe the crew knows about the other locations too. And third, East Bay locations carry premium top-shelf liquor. That means a single hit carries a materially larger loss exposure than it would in smaller inland cities. It just completely changes the math on your prevention budget.
Finally, Section 5, Fixing the Problem for Good. Security shutters versus quick fixes.
So this brings us to the ultimate resolution. You absolutely do not want to pay 5 figures to replace commercial double-door glass just to watch it get smashed all over again in 30 seconds 6 months from now. But listen, real security is not a 2 a.m. emergency fix. Days 1 through 3 are purely for assessment and boarding up. Then you're looking at a solid 3 to 5 weeks for custom shutter materials to actually be fabricated and arrive. If anyone out there is promising a same-night shutter install, they are likely selling you a stock product that just won't fit your door right. But here's the good news. Once the materials finally arrive, the active on-site install only takes a day or 2 and can often be done overnight without ever having to close your business.
Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth do I pay for this? Well, whatever you do not assume your insurance carrier is going to foot the bill for your permanent fix. Insurance claims are designed to cover restoring exactly what was already there. So, repairing the broken glass, replacing the damaged frame, covering the stolen inventory. Upgrading from a glass door to a heavy-duty security shutter is almost always classified as an out-of-pocket improvement. It totally falls outside the standard claim unless your carrier specifically requires shutters in your policy. Always ask your broker if a shutter counts as a repair or an upgrade before you commit to the installation.
And hey, if you are one of those multi-store operators we talked about earlier, pay really close attention to this rollout advice. If one location gets hit, your immediate instinct is going to be to panic buy shutters for every single store you own tonight. Please don't do that. You should definitely reassess your whole portfolio, but start exclusively with the store that was hit. Then systematically add 1 or 2 stores that share the most characteristics with it. Similar neighborhoods, similar inventory exposure. Roll it out strategically, store by store, using the same install crew and the same product family, so you maintain quality control without completely destroying your cash flow all at once.
Ultimately, the entire takeaway of this explainer really boils down to recognizing your vulnerabilities way before it is too late. The quote here hits the nail on the head. The first attempt is the warning, the second is the loss. When you see those subtle signs, the rattled door, the pried window, the new tag, that is your window of opportunity. The data is completely clear. They're testing you. So the question I'll leave you with today is this. Will you heed the subtle warning signs your store is giving you right now, or will you wait to become another 5 a.m. statistic tomorrow? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and make sure you're protecting what you've worked so hard to build.